I usually don't do movie reviews, but I'm going to make an exception. Why? Because Beverly Hills Cop is one of my favorite movie franchises, and there is a new entry in the series. Yes, that's right. If you have not heard, the new movie is Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. Currently, it is playing only on Netflix. I'm not trying to sell you on Netflix, but if you've never heard of this movie, you're going to ask, well, where can I see it? Currently only on Netflix. Anyways, so Axel F takes place many, many years after the events of Beverly Hills Cop 3. And before I get into Axel F, let's just go through the series real quick. The original Beverly Hills Cop came out in 1984. This was followed by Cop 2 in 1987. And then there was a bit of a wait for Beverly Hills Cop 3. That was in 1994. I personally enjoyed Beverly Hills Cop 3, but I will still agree with many that that is the low point in the series. Again, it's not a bad movie. We've all seen truly bad movies. I don't think Cop 3 deserves to be in that category. But again, it is a low point in the series. And for a while, that was all we had, just the trilogy. And Cop 3 would mean the series ends on kind of a flat note. But good news, here comes Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. I don't know why they didn't call it Beverly Hills Cop 4, but whatever. Anyway, as I said, this latest movie takes place many, many years after Beverly Hills Cop 3. Foley is much older. Now I gotta say, Eddie Murphy has aged quite gracefully. I mean, you look at his co-stars and it's like, whoa, oh man, they look much older than Eddie Murphy. So whatever Eddie Murphy's been doing, his fitness program, hey, there's another career arc for, is it arch or arc? Another career arc for Eddie Murphy, sell your supplement brand or your exercise program, because dang, talk about aging gracefully, that is Eddie Murphy. Anyway, we find out that Axel Foley has a daughter. They have a strained relationship. His daughter, according to movie lore, is 32 years old, so yeah, quite a bit of time has passed since we last saw Axel. Now, this story arc kind of follows the others. Axel Foley is a Detroit cop. He's with the Detroit PD, but his adventures take him seemingly always back to Beverly Hills. For the most part, Axel F follows the same formula as Beverly Hills Cop and Beverly Hills Cop 2. And that's not a bad thing, because those two had a winning formula. So you've got, of course, Eddie Murphy's, comic genius. You've got high action, car chases, and, funny banter between Axel and Billy and Taggart, while chaos is all around them. So that has not changed. So if you were never a fan of that type of action comedy movie, I don't think Axel F will convert you. That being said, if you absolutely loved Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2 and enjoyed 3, well, this is more of what you want. Well, basically more of 1 and 2 and less of 3. Now, what is different in Axel F is a bit of a tonal shift. One that I think is necessary and also makes sense, and it works. So what's this tonal shift? Well, you see it in the beginning. Axel is with his current temporary partner, Mikey, and as they're chasing the bad guys, Mikey says, "Hey, Axel, now these words are not verbatim, but he said something along the lines of, at Axel's age, this is when people usually start to slow down, get a nice desk job, take it easy, relax." And as they're chasing the bad guys, Axel's like, "This is how I relax." That kind of sets the tone for this change we see in Axel and how he's able to navigate things. So remember, in the earlier films, Axel would do what I would call the fast con. he would find ways to scheme his way in and out of situations. As an example, in the first movie, when he tries to meet with Victor Maitland and he doesn't have an appointment, he's in some ritzy place. And so what's he do? He creates a character for himself called Ramon. And he's like, yes, my name's Ramon, and I've just been diagnosed with herpes simplex 10. Maybe you ought to go tell the man, Victor Maitland, maybe you ought to go tell the man before, things start to fall off on him. And of course, the intermediary, he doesn't want to have to go to Victor Maitland and tell him that, you're, that person you met with that one time has been diagnosed with some weird disease and you need to go to the clinic. Obviously, he doesn't want to go do that. So, the guy's just like, maybe it's best if you tell Victor Maitland yourself. So, Eddie Murphy was known for this, as part of Axel Foley's character, that fast con. Another notable one in Cop 2, when he's examining evidence from the Alphabet murders and the new chief of police comes in, and he's like, who's this man? What's he doing here? Referring to Foley. And Foley comes up with another character. He's like, yes, I'm Johnny Wishbone. Yes, Johnny Wishbone. I'm here from LaCroix. I'm the psychic Johnny Wishbone, here to help you solve the Alphabet case. And your name is Lutz. See, Lutz. Yes, the name just popped into my head. And this always worked for Axel. It was almost like his superpower. Right, he's able to it's like his version of the Jedi mind trick. It's like a funny, wisecracking, streetwise version of the Jedi mind trick, and it was always hilarious. It always worked. But this is where the shift comes in Axel F. There are times in this movie, I'm not going to try to spoil. I'm going to try not to spoil too much. But there are times in this movie where he tries the fast con and it plain doesn't work, and it's funny. And the way they wrote it and the way Eddie Murphy plays the character, it's okay. It's okay to see Axel dip into his bag of old tricks, and sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does, and if you're a big fan of the movies and of Axel Foley, you're gonna be like, yeah, this is it. This is classic Axel. Good to see him back in form. But at the same time, when it doesn't work, you're able to laugh along with it because, again, it's so well done. So I do like that shift there where they acknowledge, this is a different generation, okay? The same old tricks are just not going to work all the time anymore. He's a man who's up against, Kevin Bacon's in the film, so not everybody is younger than him. But, just saying, a lot of the bad guys he's up against now, they're not going to be quite as old as him. Some of the people he's going to try to pull the con on. They're going to be of a different generation, one that's a little more cynical, a little more questioning. They're going to start to see through some of his BS. And again, it's cool to see it fail because it is just about as funny as when his con does work. So obviously the main draw is if you're a Beverly Hills Cop fan who wished that we didn't have to end on a flat note with Cop 3, hey, here we go. This is how Beverly Hills Cop, the franchise, should end. So as a love letter to Beverly Hills Cop fans, this movie is just about perfect. But how is it when we judge it just as a film on its own? Well, I'm going to have to take a few points off here. Don't get me wrong, I'm not disparaging the movie. It is a good movie, but it is very formulaic. It's an 80s film. Okay, you've got high action chases, with Eddie Murphy doing his thing, making these chases funny and chaotic. You've got the banter between himself and and his allies and also his enemies. Good stuff. But again, no new ground has been broken. Not that you need to break new ground, especially with a Beverly Hills Cop film. But, just saying, this is kind of like, what if they made an 80s style movie now? Well, you would get Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. There is one little caveat, though. Again, this plays out like a love letter to Beverly Hills Cop fans. So, of course, throughout the series, especially in Cop 1 and 2, there's been this camaraderie between Axel, Billy, and Taggart, especially in Beverly Hills Cop 2. And of course, the fans want to see that, and yeah, they do bring it back. Billy and Taggart are not quite as much in this film as they were in Beverly Hills Cop 2, but they are in there. And of course, they are, reaching for that nostalgia. Okay, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but the caveat is if you don't watch Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, then you're probably not going to appreciate, the time, some of the things they do in the film. Minor spoilers here. So, back in the original film, Taggart, when Taggart and Foley first meet, Foley gets smart with him, and Taggart loses his temper, punches Foley in the gut. And there's a scene here in Axel F where Taggart looks like he's pissed when he's, when Axel's there, and he does a fake punch to, to Axel's gut. If you didn't see the previous films, you wouldn't know about that. So there's a lot of nostalgia type jokes where you need to see the first two. Maybe not the third one, but if you've already watched the first two, just go watch the third one anyway. Anyway, there's a lot of references to the older films that you're not going to appreciate them unless you've watched the previous films. Now, is watching the previous films absolutely necessary? No, it is not. But I think you'll appreciate Axel F a lot more if you watch the previous films. Okay, rating time. As an action comedy type of film, this is easily a solid 3 out of 4 stars. Now, if you're a Beverly Hills Cop fan, hey, 4 out of 4. But then again, if you already are a Beverly Hills Cop fan, you don't need me to tell you that. Alrighty, hey, thanks for tuning in. Catch you all next time.